John Marston has had a rough life. Instead of falling on a cactus or catching pestilence, Marston found himself outside the law running with a violent gang only to be betrayed and end up working for the deceitfulness of that law. In this episode of Character Profile, we'll talk about my most highly requested game, Red Dead Redemption, and how its theme of becoming the better man makes it one of the most significant narratives in all the West.
Marshals of the law, when the shooting starts, take that as your cue to start awarding each other medals.
What makes Marston such a likeable character is that he's a mature, wise, fatherly figure that guides you more around the West than any Rockstar map. He's a man that's been stabbed in the back, well, shot in the pelvis, and left for dead by his former associates. As a result, he's lost all sense of trust towards anyone, and takes much consideration to the loyalty of the people he works with. Marston highlights the fact that there isn't many people in the world you can trust, but at the end of the day, you still have to live with them.
Stupid liars.
His enlightening perspective on the world grows the player and sharpens their wits, which is something that's needed in a game where spontaneous events involve deception and lies.
See, me and Archer, we're the bad guys.
When the player eventually assumes the role of Jack, Marston's wisdom has rubbed off on the player, making them shrewder in a world with a younger character. To make this point more clear, John talks about loyalty throughout his journey for redemption, and how it doesn't take much to create enemies. Bonnie is John's most significant encounter, as she teaches him to live an honest life and take moral consideration for his actions. Now, not to offend any religious fanatics, but there is a humanly spiritual overtone to Marston's journey. He makes it clear that he's not a religious man, and we know he's lost his faith and trust, but as the story develops, he begins to believe that everyone can be morally saved. That said, this eventually comes back to haunt him at the end of the narrative. His sacrifice for his family into the hands of Edgar Ross's men was his last test to be redeemed. His death means that his family can seek a better life, but as Marston himself states to Bonnie, people don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven. Hence it is only inevitable that his son would vow revenge, then seek an honest life. When returning to the spiritual aspect of Marston's journey, it becomes clear that he believes in the law of retaliation, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Matthew chapter 5, verses 37 to 39. While not a biblical thinker, Marston does believe in the generalization that good people are rewarded with a peaceful afterlife. So it's his intention from the beginning to receive forgiveness for his crimes, not his sins. The moral of John Marston's journey was discovering his inner goodness and finding peace within a lawless land. That said, if you really want to stretch your imagination, the name John is Hebrew for God is gracious. His journey involves helping and saving others. He is betrayed by his close associate, executed by the supposedly good, and rose again. It's like saying that John Marston is some kind of Cowboy Jesus. Either way, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Which just so happens to be the same chapter of Matthew, verse 9.